The Mazda CX-30 was all new for the 2020 model year, and it was a great addition to the company's lineup as it became the second best-selling vehicle for Mazda behind the CX-5 last year. New for 2021, Mazda is giving the CX-30 an optional turbo engine that is sure to give the small crossover an injection of performance. So in today's video, we're going to go for a drive with the 2021 Mazda CX-30 Turbo and see what it has to offer.
We'd like to give a huge shout out to the folks at Mazda of Gastonia in Gastonia, North Carolina for letting us spend some time with this 2021 Mazda CX-30 Turbo. Mazda of Gastonia has a beautiful showroom, great staff, and a nice selection of new and used vehicles. So if you're in the market for a new vehicle, be sure to check out the folks at Mazda of Gastonia. Mazda has made it clear they aren't merely content with being compared to other mainstream car makers like Honda and Toyota. Mazda aims to compete more in line with luxury brands like Lexus, BMW, and Mercedes. When the CX-30 made its debut last year, it was very apparent in terms of styling and interior quality that Mazda was seriously putting in the effort to achieve their upscale aspirations. However, the one area where the CX-30 lagged behind premium brands was in the power department. The CX-30's standard 2.5-liter lacked the horsepower of vehicles such as the BMW X1, Audi Q3, and Mercedes GLA. Mazda has fixed that problem in a very significant way with the more powerful engine option in the new 2.5 turbo trim, which comes with Mazda's iActive all-wheel drive. The one we have here is a 2021 Mazda CX-30 2.5 Turbo Premium. Mazda also offers a base trim and a higher Premium Plus trim, which adds a few assistance features like traffic jam assist and a 360-degree monitor. Before we get into performance, let's start with the design. Hot on the heels of the Mazda 3, the CX-30 is the second model in Mazda's lineup to get the latest installment of the brand's Kodo design philosophy. Mazda says that design philosophy seeks to create cars that incorporate the dynamic beauty of life. Mazda is also looking to unify their design across their entire lineup. Up front, the CX-30 has a large grille that looks to mimic the Mazda symbol, with chrome accenting that surround the gloss black mesh insert. The front end is my favorite part of this design because Mazda has managed to make the car look aggressive without a ton of sharp straight lines. There's a curviness to the CX-30's design that you won't find with a lot of crossovers it competes against. The full LED headlights are narrow and make the most of compact packaging. Mazda uses large continuous panels throughout the design that give the CX-30 a sense of flowing continuity. There are no fake unnecessary vents, which is a good thing in our opinion. On the lower part of the grille, you will find an opening for air to pass through, and Mazda uses active air vents that close for better aerodynamics and open when more cooling is necessary. I like the sharp descent of the front hood. It gives the side profile of the CX-30 a charging forward appearance. Sticking with the sleek design, the side profile of the CX-30 is all curves. All CX-30 turbos get gloss black 18-inch alloy wheels. They work well in contrast to the Soul Red crystal metallic paint. The CX-30 Turbo also has gloss black mirrors. There's a strip of chrome lining the window trim, and the satin chrome roof rails extend to the rear, where they meet the gloss black spoiler that completes the elegant yet sporty appearance of the CX-30 Turbo. In the rear, much like the front, the CX-30 has compact light housing for the LED taillights. There's badging on the rear deck that denotes this vehicle as a turbo trim with all-wheel drive. Turbo CX-30s get larger dual exhaust outlets. The CX-30 does ride on the same platform as the Mazda 3 hatchback. Because crossovers do aim to be more rugged than their car counterparts, Mazda has added black cladding to the bottom of the CX-30 to absorb debris in case you find yourself doing some light off-roading. Overall, I am a fan of Mazda's new design language. It's simple yet striking. Getting into the CX-30 Turbo can be done with the key you see here, or by pressing the button on the door handle.
All right, hopping into the 2021 Mazda CX-30 Turbo, and first impressions are there's no question that Mazda is certainly the leader when it comes to interior design, fit and finish for this segment. The company has stated that they don't want to just take on mainstream brands, but they really want to take on brands from luxury makers such as Lexus, BMW, and Mercedes. Considering this is a small compact crossover, they've really done a good job. There's soft touch materials, leather everywhere you look, everywhere you touch, and the build quality is just as good as what you will find in some of those brands.
The fit and finish of the CX-30 Turbo's interior is certainly a class above any other subcompact SUV from economy brands like the Honda HR-V and Nissan Kicks. However, the interior isn't as nice as some of the luxury European competition, in particular the Mercedes GLA. But when you consider the GLA has a starting price that's nearly $8,000 more than the CX-30 Turbo, this car's value starts to make sense. Mazda has really done a great job with the material choices, giving this interior a premium feel. You do have to remember this is a smaller SUV, so having leather-like materials on the dash and switches and buttons that feel great to touch and look at make this interior a standout in this segment. The center dash has an 8.8-inch screen that can be controlled using Mazda's multifunction controller. We do wish Mazda would have included touch operations on the screen, as it can make navigating to certain features a lot easier to do. Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are included. In the center of the dash are buttons for the dual-zone climate controls, as well as the heated seats and heated steering wheel. In terms of connectivity, there's a USB port, and wireless phone charging is available inside the center console. On the lower part of the console is the multifunction controller and buttons for navigating through the center screen. There's also the Sport Mode switch, a button for the parking brake, auto hold, and a knob that controls the volume and media. The steering wheel is wrapped in leather and has the typical buttons for media and cruise control on the left and right. And there are also paddle shifters in the rear. The gauge cluster consists of analog gauges for the tach, oil temp, and fuel, and a digital gauge in the center that can display a number of different menus. The CX-30 Turbo also comes with a heads-up display, which is standard on the Premium and Premium Plus trims. It also has a power-operated sunroof. The seats in the CX-30 Turbo are ultra comfortable and provide good side support. The driver gets 8-way power adjustments, while the passenger makes do with manual controls. Up front, the CX-30 has 38.1 inches of headroom and 41.7 inches of legroom. The second row headroom is rated at 38.3 inches, and legroom is 36.3 inches. The second row does feel a bit tight for adults, but again, this is a subcompact crossover, and those numbers are on par with other vehicles in this class. Rear passengers also get good quality materials with climate control vents and cup holders in the fold-down armrest. Getting into the rear cargo area can be done using the key or by pressing the button on the power lifting tailgate. The tailgate also has adjustable height control that can be set using the button on the gate. The CX-30 Turbo offers 20.2 inches of cargo space, which is on the low end when compared to more economy brands, but on par with the space found in luxury compact crossovers. Folding down, the second row seats will provide some additional room. Underneath the floorboard is a spare tire and the subwoofer for the Bose 12-speaker audio system. The Mazda CX-30 Turbo has a push-button start. Let's press the button and start it up. The turbocharged power comes in the form of a 2.5-liter turbocharged inline-4. It makes 250 horsepower and a massive 320 pound-feet of torque when you use 93-octane fuel. Those numbers decline to a still impressive 227 horsepower and 310 pound-feet of torque if you fill up with regular fuel. Its grade Mazda has tuned the engine to allow for both fuel types. Power gets to the ground via a 6-speed automatic transmission and Mazda's iActive all-wheel drive system. The combination of the transmission and all-wheel drive means the engine is always in its sweet spot and is able to efficiently put power down even when things get slippery.
All right, gonna give it a little bit of acceleration here. Oh yeah. This thing definitely gets up to speed very easily. You only need a couple of seconds to get up to the speed limit, so that means that you can get in trouble with this car if you're not careful. And you know, that's a testament to this turbocharged engine. As I mentioned before, Mazda's actually trying to aim for vehicles like the Mercedes-Benz GLA and the BMW X1. And even when compared to those vehicles from luxury brands such as Mercedes and BMW, this engine actually makes more power. And you're paying nearly $10,000 less for this than you would for a BMW X1 or Mercedes-Benz GLA. Now, granted, those do have a little bit more glitz and glam in their interior and more features that you can't find with the CX-30, but if you're just looking for a really well-built vehicle with a luxurious feeling interior, as well as pretty good options, and of course, a ton of power from this 2.5-liter turbo, then the Mazda CX-30 starts to look very appealing when you factor in the price. All right, give it a little bit more gas here. Yeah, no question about it. I mean, this engine suits this vehicle very well. Mazda's not big on shouting about their 0 to 60 times. They're more concerned about the way that vehicles make you feel when you're driving and not necessarily instrumented test. And in that regard, this definitely feels quick. It should be easily the quickest vehicle in this segment. I can't think of any other vehicle that would be quicker. And another thing that stands out with the CX-30 is how well punted it feels. The steering is pretty light, so it's not very heavy, but it's extremely direct, and you actually feel a connection to the road when you're driving it. Yeah, this thing definitely gets up and goes, and you add to that the all-wheel drive system, and there's definitely a lot of confidence in driving the CX-30 Turbo.
For me, actually driving the CX-30 highlighted its most enjoyable characteristics. Not because the turbocharged engine turned it into some sort of raging performance-focused crossover. Sharing its platform with the Mazda 3 hatchback means the stability and steering feel of the CX-30 Turbo make it handle as though it's smaller than it already is. And there's a certain level of connection you get through the steering found throughout Mazda's lineup that you don't get from rivals. The turbocharged engine simply adds an extra wow factor to the equation. The CX-30 Turbo comes with a good list of safety and driver assistance features that include lane departure warning, lane keep assist, and smart cruise control with stop and go. In terms of performance, the CX-30 Turbo is likely the best option under $40,000. There's no other engine in this segment that can match the massive amount of torque this 2.5-liter turbo engine produces. So the CX-30 does find itself in that middle ground of being a lot better than mainstream crossovers in some ways, but not being as good as luxury brands in other ways. One thing is clear, Mazda has certainly turned up the heat with its CX-30 crossover. The turbo power plant puts it in a league of its own in this price range. Factor in great interior quality and confidence-inspiring driving dynamics, and the CX-30 Turbo becomes a standout vehicle. So if you're in the market for a small crossover SUV, the Mazda CX-30 Turbo is certainly worth the look. Thanks again to Mazda of Gastonia, and thank you for watching. If you liked this video, be sure to subscribe and leave a comment below. You can also find us on Instagram at rideXdrive.